expensive? Absolutely not. If you run your costs, and that's something that we'll teach you in modularseminars.com, it is a great value.
Okay. And then, of course, weather is an issue. I mean,
Absolutely.
you get water in your footers and you've got to wait, and then the inspector turns it down. Of course, some footers may have to have rebar. You get water in there or the dirt goes in, then you've got a problem. But with this system, you don't have to worry about that.
Well, and that's a great point too, Pepper, because superior wall systems are guaranteed against leakage.
That's awesome. That's great. Okay. Well, they're putting it together here, and we're going to do a little bit of, we've got a very experienced set crew here, don't we?
Yes. They are Mid-State Modulars out of Salisbury, North Carolina. They've been in business for well over 10 years. They've set hundreds, probably thousands of modular homes. And so we're very confident. They're very confident and capable, and we have a lot of confidence in what they do.
Now, these roofs here are hinged.
That's correct.
So what kind of roof pitch are we going to have on this?
We're going to have a 912.
Okay.
Being in that it is a 3-section ranch on the floor, on the first floor, 3-section bonus ranch they call it, we will have a 27 feet 6-inch depth upstairs. So that's tremendous. And then obviously you have a 72, a 68, and a 40-foot length box.
Wow.
So you'll have different lengths upstairs, but 27.5 feet deep.
And now
we've also plumbed for 2 bathrooms in this upstairs.
Okay, so when you did the 912 roof pitch, you made sure that because it was going to be 2-story, you made sure that your joists were upgraded to be able to handle the weight.
Absolutely. 2x10 joists, habitable joists. The decking comes from the factory in place. Like I mentioned, your plumbing drops are there, your fresh water lines are there. You have, in this house, 3 home runs, electrical home runs run upstairs, 2 to take off for your standard wiring, and 1 for your smoke detector that's required by code.
All right, well, that's exciting. As soon as it gets together, put it together, let's give a tour and go inside and see what happens.
Love to see it.
All right. Anything else you want to add about the seminar? Do you think that you can tell the folks, hey, this is really what you're going to learn that most people wouldn't even tell you? Now, in my opinion, it is you take the invoice of the house that you get from the manufacturer and you go over it line by line item and figure out what options you want to order and what options you don't. You've been in the industry a long time. You've done that, have you not?
Oh, absolutely. There are certain things that are a cost benefit to come from the manufacturer. There are some things you do not want to do, either not necessarily because of costs, but efficiencies or just practicalities. For example, hardwood floors.
Right. Okay. Now, if I was going to give a guarantee, say someone comes to our modular seminar for the price that we set it at, I'm going to guarantee them that within their first or second house, that they're going to save anywhere from $3,000 to $8,000, somewhere in that range, on ordering 2 houses, and options and things to look out for from the factory, things maybe you can do on site. Do you feel that's legitimate?
I think that's a conservative number.
Okay.
I wish 15 years ago when I got into this industry that there was someone or a group like modularseminars.com that I could have went to and learned from their experience, because I can tell you over the 15 years I have lost thousands of dollars because of the learning curve.
And that can vary also to the manufacturer that you use, folks. I mean, it depends on, he's using Arnell out of North Carolina. I also use Simplex out of Pennsylvania. I've used several other manufacturers throughout the United States, and each one's different. And each one has option prices they mark up maybe more than others, and they have construction differences that maybe you want to pay attention to.
Right.
And so, and there's a lot of things you might want to do on site. Like I prefer to build my dormers on site because I can do them cheaper and faster if I have the right crew. But if you don't, you may want to go ahead and order the dormer from the factory and get it set and ready to go, mostly if it's in the winter.
Correct.
Winter weather.
Correct.
So there's all these things you got to measure.
And regarding the dormers, you have to look at, okay, that's an additional transportation cost if there are 3 dormers or more. So there's a lot of factors that we can't get into today, but we will get into in the seminars. Things that you would never even think of that will save you or could cost you if you don't attend thousands of dollars.
Sounds great. All right, folks, we're looking forward to seeing you at the seminars. That's just God's green earth, huh?
It's incredible.
Amazing. Pepper Rogers here at ModularSeminars.com. We're on site here at Abington, Virginia with Greg Altizer. He just set a mod in an absolutely gorgeous setting here out in Virginia. This is a 3-piece modular, and it's got some really unique features to it. Greg, thanks for spending your time with us.
Yeah, my pleasure, Pepper.
Come on out and let's go inside, and why don't you show us some unique features on this house?
Absolutely.
3, 2, 1.
All right, Greg, we're inside here in the mod, and first thing that I noticed when I walked through, we've got some pillars going on. Is this the dining room area?
It is, and this is by design. These are block columns that the customer incorporated into the floor plan to kind of separate the room from the rest of the house, but yet leave it open. We have just stepped across the marriage line from the first section, which includes a porch and part of the dining area and the dinette area. So we're in the middle section now, and we can continue back on into the living areas if you'd like.
All right, real quick now, what ceiling height do we have here?
Standard with the R&L on this series are 9-foot ceilings, smooth finished.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, and there's cut. Come on.
3, 2, 1.
So we have 9-foot smooth ceilings, or standard in this series of R&L. And in this house, it is on the basement. Well, you need a basement access. So voila. Now, how the house comes in, it's decked for safety. And then what will happen, this decking will be cut out. The stairs will be installed to the local code and have access to the basement.
Now we've got the marriage wall because it is a 3-piece house, and the camera will pan up and catch that. So you've got to have someone come back and drywall this area, correct?
That's correct. We'll come in, we'll drywall the ceiling as well as where the wall parts that are.
Okay. And we're going to get a lot of background noise, but that's okay. We'll just talk over it because upstairs they're raising the roof, putting up the knee walls, and they're putting in the dormers. But we wanted to walk through here and get everybody a nice overview of what's going on.
Now, one thing you'll notice as we come into the second and third section of the home that we could have done here is opened up this area and spanned a 19-foot section to add more, a more open feel. But the homeowner did like the columns, the aesthetic look of the columns, again to separate the room but yet leave it open.
Yeah, that does look good. I'm going to be standing real close to you. So
Okay.
so I'm not trying to kiss you. All right, Greg, what we got? We're walking through here. Now, I see you got 3 windows here on the back.
Right.
Catches in that really gorgeous view.
Absolutely.
But couldn't they have optioned in maybe a picture window?
They could have optioned in a picture window. They could have optioned in patio doors, atrium doors, just a number of accessories that are available from most manufacturers.
And then you can also do transom windows over the windows if you wanted to,
Transom windows, absolutely. Transom windows, palladium windows. On the front, they chose to do the window pediments, so to give more detail to the exterior.
Now, also what you can do, and we'll teach you in our seminars, is you can order in these are white vinyl windows. There are some manufacturers offer upgrades like wood interior, vinyl exterior with different colors. Depends on the manufacturer to go through.
Right, and we're talking about products that you can buy at Lowe's or Home Depot. For example, R&L offers an Anderson window as an option. So you will have very well-known name brand features in the home.
Okay, so there's a lot of changes, a lot of upgrades you can make as you go along.
With the manufacturer, R&L, there are 10,000 options available. So it's hard, if you've never done it before or haven't been exposed to it, to go through and determine what's the best value or even terminology, what some of those things mean.
And now something here that I wanted to mention that hopefully we can teach you in the seminar, but we can't teach you everything, what your experience is going to get when you do modulars. Here we've got a lot of stuff, what they call ship loose. And they'll load up your house with all kinds of different features. And normally, Greg, what they'll do is they'll send you a list of all your ship loose material. Even myself, as being in the industry a long time, I'll take that list and I can grab 80-90% of it But there's always something that isn't packaged right, or it doesn't make sense to me. It might make sense to the factory guy who threw it in there, or they might even throw extra in there.
Or they make mistakes too, not throw enough in there. So what happens now, most manufacturers, you will have a limited amount of time to determine if they ship the proper material and loose items. If not, obviously their take on it is going to be, well, you didn't get back to us in time. You have to go locally and purchase that, or order it and pay for that. So those are some other things that we can teach at the seminar to save you money.
So and they're telling, and normally it's what, a 7-day period to go through your ship loose?
Normally.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Right.
So that's one thing you got to do. And then sometimes I've actually had them where we had oak finishes and the guy at the factory threw in cherry crown molding, which we didn't order. So there's all kinds of things that can happen that way, and those are some of the fine details you got to watch out for. And if this, in the seminar we teach you this, but this is also like a training tape right now that Greg and I are doing, and kind of so you can go over it and refresh your memory after the seminar and say, oh yeah, that's right, I need to watch out for this. But your loose materials things is very critical.
Absolutely.
And most of you, for example, toilets aren't in. They say, well, we'll ship those loose for you. Then you got to make sure you double check your toilets, because $100 here and $150 there, it adds up.
Right. Or it's cracked. Well, from the manufacturer's standpoint, after 7 days on the average, if you call and say, hey, I've got a cracked toilet, well, who's to say it didn't get cracked on site? So most of their stance is going to be, that's something that was shipped, it was checked off fine, therefore that's a cost that you're going to have to absorb.
Okay. I hear the crane is right here, and it's going to put up a dormer right now. I thought maybe we might want to walk upstairs real quick and film that dormer going in.
Sure.
Let's go. Okay, Nathan, stand right there. We'll go over this plumbing while this dormer is being put on, and then we'll switch over the dormers.
Yeah. Hey, if we're in y'all's way, man, you just holler.
3, 2, 1.
All right, Greg, we're on top here on the house, and this is a 912 roof pitch. But the cool thing about this is it's 3 boxes wide, so that 912 is going to give you a lot of living space.
A huge amount of living space,
so
Pepper.
That's awesome. And you've also plumbed up here upstairs for a bathroom.
Correct. In this house, we actually did 2 bathroom plumbing, pre-plumbing tasks before that, while the house was being built.
So, and you want to check that on your plan to make sure when that plan comes back from the factory, you look over it as the seller of the modular, and then of course the client needs to look at it. So when you're selling a modular or you're speccing a modular, you want to make sure you go over your, as Nathan I just was going to say, don't go any farther back. Excuse us, folks. Nathan just fell through the ceiling. All right, let's try again. All right, we got our plumbing here. So you want to check on your plan and make sure you see on the plan where that plumbing is stubbed up and ready to go, whether you're doing it for your client or you're doing it as a spec house, and you make sure the factory didn't miss that.
Remember this, Pepper, that the factory, they don't know what you're doing upstairs.
Okay.
I mean, they build the upstairs, but they don't complete the upstairs. So they're going to put the plumbing where you tell them to. It's important to know that if you're planning on putting a bathtub here, that you've got the proper wall height with the knee walls coming up, that the bathtub will fit. And those are some of the other things that we can teach you in the seminar.
That's true, because I've run across those in Capes, and if you're doing a bathroom up against a knee wall, you can't put the tub over there because you won't have enough height clearance.
Correct.
It won't meet code. So you've got to have that tub either on this far wall or the wall more towards the marriage wall.
Hence the importance of knowing where to put your plumbing.
Right. Okay. That sounds good. Now we've got some flooring down. You can see some of the OSB. Now what do we got over here, Greg? This looks like some metal beams or something going on there.
As we mentioned downstairs, the homeowner had the option to span
Okay.
that living area or that dining area.
Right.
Well, they wanted the columns there for